So, I mean, look at this chart. Look at what's going on here. It's going to be difficult to break this down, but you can see there's a lot happening. And it involves two grand trines in nearly perfect symmetry, uh, basically forming both a Star of David formation or this pentagram or hexagram rather um, alignment, and it is other things as well. And actually, I'm realizing I'm going to back off of this for a minute. Let's go back. We were looking at Venus coming into the Grand Trine here, and there's another element that I just want to point out that's very important, I think, and it happens to be the case that um, it's not just Uranus trine Pluto, but it's also Neptune exactly or nearly exactly halfway between Uranus and Pluto, forming sextiles, Neptune sextile Pluto and Neptune sextile Uranus. And it gets more exact in the coming years. Let's just go forward a couple of years, and you can see here Uranus at 0, Neptune at 29, almost 0, Pluto at 1. They are in Uranus is exactly trine Pluto within 1 degree, and Neptune bisects that trine within 1 degree. If we go forward one more year, you can really see it. Uranus 4, Pluto 3, Neptune 2. So like all within 1 or 2 degrees. And when you get grand trines with that formation, you get also a kite formation. And you can see it here. So Venus is opposite Neptune and forming the trine, the grand trine to Uranus and Pluto. And so if we go a day at a time here, when it gets more precise, let's look at this. This is when Venus is 2 degrees past Uranus and 5 degrees from Pluto and just 2 degrees from Neptune. So this is a very tight kite formation. Here's the grand trine, and it's bisected by Venus. It's so a kite formation, I think, is one of the most special geometrical patterns you can get because it combines the dynamism of the opposition, in this case, the Venus-Neptune, with the trines and sextiles of the other planets combining. And the trines and sextiles being the soft aspects and tend to bring more flowing, harmonious energies. And so you get, this very dynamic Venus-Neptune kind of spiritual, heart-opening energy. At the same time, you've got Venus trine Uranus, which kind of liberates the heart. It opens you to be more surprised by love, where there's a kind of trickster energy that comes into your life when it comes to intimacy and romantic relationships. And at the same time, you've got Venus trine Pluto, which gives the potential for like deeper love, more transformational love, powerful intimacy experiences where there's a kind of animal attraction sometimes when it comes to like romantic relationships, or where there's a more kind of deep soul level attraction. And so I think this time when Venus is coming into this alignment, and again, I would say, right around the time of the lunar eclipse on the 28th, Venus really starts to get cooking here. And so think about the lunar eclipse as a good marker for a time where you really want to be kind of opening your heart and kind of opening to positive experiences of intimacy that are deeper, more transformational, more exciting, and so it's like it's a time to invest more in your intimate life and the relationships in your life that have the most meaning and importance. And it's like giving more time to Venus, more time to love, more time to intimacy. You're more likely to set the stage for the gods to transform your intimate life. And so, yes, that's the Venus kite that's happening here. But you'll see that there's an additional thing that starts to form. And let's now go to November. Let's look at the 2nd first. You can see that Mercury is coming into a tighter opposition to Uranus. And so by this point, instead of Mercury and Mars being tighter on Jupiter, they're moving into the opposition with Uranus. And at the same time, Mercury is starting to trine Neptune. Eventually, the Sun and Mars will also be opposite Uranus and trine to Neptune. And so by the time we get to the 3rd here, Mercury's just 1 degree from opposite Uranus. Mars is 6 degrees from opposite Uranus. Mercury is 5 degrees trine to Neptune, 5 degrees trine to the moon. And so that's another kite. It's a grand trine, Mercury, Moon, Neptune grand trine, which is it just adds to the potency of this Mercury moment. Mercury, Mars, Mercury, Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, Mercury, Uranus, Mercury trine Neptune. On this day, it's a Mercury, Moon, Neptune grand trine. And so in addition to like really opening your heart and honoring your intimate life, this is an equally potent time for honoring your mental life, the life of the mind, your need for communication and connection with others through conversation. And, maybe it's a really good time to reach out to somebody and write something special to them. It could be a time, definitely could be a time for anybody that's a creative writer or creative communicator. On the one hand, you have such strong Venus kind of artistic energy, and on the other hand, you also have this really strong Mercury energy. And so I could see it being a particularly strong moment for writers, professional speakers, and also where it's like your own personal journaling process. This is one of the ultimate days for journaling. Definitely hang out with people, connect with people you love, but also maybe take some time to be more just with yourself, do some journaling, write something that's very personal. Definitely a moment for inspired writing, for like channeling something through that has a higher spiritual source. Definitely that's Mercury, Neptune, but then it's Mercury opposite Uranus, which is like brilliant mental energy, like electric mental states, flight of ideas, the potential to take flight with your mind and to have an unexpected opening to a new way of thinking about something, or where, maybe you read something on this day, or maybe you're reading an amazing book during this time generally, and it kind of lights up your mind with some exciting new way of thinking about things, and where maybe it's like you feel like you've been freed through the learning, or where your communication to another person like really liberates them. And so, this is super exciting with Mercury. And so Mercury, Moon, Neptune grand trine, at the same time you've got Mercury opposite Uranus. And then it's like there's also these, they're called mystic rectangles, when you've got two oppositions that are formed with sextiles. So here you've got Neptune sextile Pluto in a trine with Venus trine Pluto, and Venus sextile the moon, and the moon trine Neptune. That's a very precise mystic rectangle, actually. It's all within 3 degrees of precision. That's a very tight mystic rectangle. And then you've got over here, you've got Mercury sextile Venus, a little broader, that's 5 degrees. Mercury trine Neptune, that's 5 degrees. And then Uranus sextile Neptune, that's 4 degrees. Uranus trine Venus, that's 4 degrees. So that's a 4-5 degree mystic rectangle, which is pretty tight in terms of the precision. And it's like a mystic rectangle is 2 trines, 2 sextiles, and 2 oppositions. So it's like super dynamic, high peak energy with the oppositions, and then it's more flowing with the trines and the kind of softer stimulation of the sextiles. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like very high charged chart, as you can see here. And when you put it all together, you can see I've put in the nodes, which are super important for eclipses. And this is still, we're on the other side of the lunar eclipse at this point, but it's still very much eclipse season, really, from the point of the full moon to the following new moon. It's like you're kind of riding out that wave of the eclipse season. And if we look ahead to the new moon, it's actually conjunct Mars. Let's just take a look at that real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at this new moon here. It's a Sun, Moon, Mars triple conjunction. And when it's exact, when the moon's back here at 21 degrees Scorpio, all three of them, the Sun, Moon, and Mars, are tight opposite Uranus. And so I kind of see that as the last alignment, or one of the last alignments in this sequence of really potent waves, these sets of waves that have been sweeping through here. But let's go back to the third. I was saying that I've put in the nodes, and it's part of what's drawn here. You can see the squares to Pluto. The squares to Pluto, where at the, let's go back here to, part of this has been the Sun square Pluto. Basically, at the point of the eclipse, we also had Sun square Pluto. And so Pluto's been squaring the nodes. And so that's where you get some additional squares here. There's also on the third, there's the moon opposite Pluto. And so there's that opposition, and Uranus tight opposite Mercury, Venus tight opposite Neptune. This is all very precise, everybody. And I hope you can feel how it's like filled with potential. And it's not like it's all on one day, but you might think of that as kind of the peak of the waveform. And it's like we're catching a larger wave, and there's these kind of key moments, key days, where it's just like higher energy level and the potential to really, catch a very special wave is higher that day. And I would say it's at an all-time peak high here on the 3rd. And so my guess is, like, from the point of the lunar eclipse, the 28th, up to the 3rd, those 5-6 days, it's like it should feel like supercharged with potential, creative potential, emotional potential, relational potential for like really strong creative mental energies. And you want to have an outlet for this. You want to have a channel for these energies. Of course, this could be a really good time for doing deep inner work, for self-exploration, for spiritual practice. I, of course, am encouraging with all these alignments to be doing ritual practice, to create an altar for some of these alignments, to draw sacred cards and work with sacred objects, tarot cards, oracle cards, and crystals, to be putting them all in a way that pleases you as you beseech the heavens for guidance and support. Definitely encourage any kind of ceremony where it's like you're intentionally reaching out to these higher energies and being receptive to their support, their guidance, their love. And so, yes. I guess I just want to say one more thing. I realized that I didn't quite fully name just how rare this alignment is. I don't think I quite fully named it. The fact that we got 2 overlapping grand trines, got 2 mystic rectangles, you've got all these oppositions crossing each other. It's super rare when you get this kind of ultimately this Star of David pattern, this sacred hexagram that has been worked with in so many cultures, in alchemy and Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, Islam, to a lesser degree Christianity. But it's like this shape forming in the heavens. It just doesn't happen hardly at all. There was a big alignment in 1997 where there was a formation like this, but that would be 20. How many years ago is that? 26 years ago was the last time. Maybe there's an alignment in there somewhere, but it's super rare. And if you know of one, let me know because I'd like to see it. And I guess the point is that rarity equals power. And when you've got so much supercharged action here, all these dynamic oppositions and conjunctions, and then all the flowing trines and sextiles, and that they're all aligning in nearly perfect symmetry. It's like, I guess it's something to just really meditate on. Meditate on, what does this shape mean for you? What does it feel like for you? To just think about this form here. But then taking in everything that I've said, meditating on the fact that all of these planets are in just super dynamic exchange with each other. Yeah, I guess that's it. I guess that's all I want to say. I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has been supportive. I hope it's inspirational. I hope it gives you something to focus on. I hope it gives you something to, bring your mindfulness to and to try to create magic with, to ultimately catch these waves and surf them to some really awesome timelines where where your parallel selves are having more fun than they might have if you weren't focused on these alignments. You know what I'm saying? So wishing you happy surfing, lots of magic, sending so much love from my heart here in Santa Marta, Colombia, to each of your hearts, to all the beings everywhere. That's what I'm sending. Love to all. And yes, until later, this is your captain signing off. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you're not a member of my channel, please subscribe. Join us on the Starship Love. And there's a special promotion. If you're not on my email list, sign up through the link below. Sending love, blessings, light, love.